Hey guys, it is Sunday night and it's about 9:30 and I'm charging here in Orange Park at Nissan. I'm just topping it up a little bit. I stopped in Gainesville, charged up a little bit, and then for about 15 minutes. And I usually stop here and charge for like 15 minutes because I don't like to get too much below 20%. I like to park the car with at least 100 miles on it. That way, if someone has to use it the next day, they've got a little juice. And also, too, it's good for emergencies. I plug the car in and trickle charge for the last 10 or 15 miles. But it's nice to have at least 100. Where am I at? I got 106 miles. I'll probably charge like 120, 130 miles. And then I'll plug in at home to get about 150. I like to keep it about 70%, 60 to 75%. That way it's always ready to go. But a lot of people, I think, have difficulties understanding electric vehicles. And I think a really simple way to understand it, when I was a teenager, I had RC cars, and they were all battery powered, and they're all, I never could afford gas powered RC cars because they're real expensive, and you needed a lot of tools, and you had to have you had to know what you're doing because you had to mix the fuel, you had to set the carburetor and all that stuff, and they were always out of my budget. And I bought like a couple at Sears with different frequencies, and man, I would run them to death and just run them into walls, super glue them back together, and they would just run and run and run. They were super fast. And I was always thinking, I'm like, why can't they make a bigger scale of this? And you're talking, this is like, over 30 years ago. And they had the technology, because I think back then it was like NiCad maybe, or lead acid batteries, and they were still, you could run those cars for like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes on that old battery technology. And then as you step further on, they came out with better and better technology for batteries. And then even like planes and stuff like that, the batteries kept getting bigger and better. I mean, more compact, more energy dense. And it got to the point years ago when everybody stopped using gas. Like, there's very few people that use gas motors anymore. I mean, because it's so much more maintenance. They're more expensive. I mean, it's just like, you can give any kid an RC car, and they can run it to death, run it into walls, run it all day long, just like beat the tar out of it, glue it back together, and go again. And there's very few people that stuck with gas. Once that new battery came out, it was like the lithium, the lipos, it was like night and day. It was like they were just blowing away everybody with gas motors and the nitro and all that stuff. And it was like, you can get more performance, you can get low maintenance, more compact. I mean, right out of the box, and everything's so simple. You just switch motors out, switch controllers out, I mean, servos, and you can upgrade the RC cars so quickly, so easily. You can hook them up to a laptop, and you can have the fastest thing on the market over a weekend or a couple hours. Now, why can't people understand? It's the same thing, it's just scaled up. A Tesla electric car is basically a big RC car. It's the same thing. It's just bigger batteries, bigger motors, bigger scale. And everything starts with RC cars. Everything starts there and goes up from there. So in my head, it's like so simple. What is so hard to understand? Like, people are talking about, oh, gas cars this, gas cars that. This is what's going to happen. Eventually, there's always going to be gas cars, just like there's still nitrous cars and gas models. People will love to tinker and mess around with those, but the vast majority of people, just look at statistics on the S-curve of what happened to RC cars, RC planes, trucks, race cars, off-road, anything that has to do with RC stuff in the last 10 years. And look at the S-curve of adoption of LiPo batteries and what it did to the nitrogen gas RC cars. It's going to be the same exact thing on a bigger scale. So, I don't know. It's so simple. It's such a simple thing. I don't know why people don't get it. There's 10 times less maintenance. The cost is coming down 10 times. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can upgrade. I mean, like some of these electric cars, you can just basically like a tuner. The only thing that controls that motor is battery and the controller. And if you can tap into that, you can make any car as fast as you want. So you can't do that with a gas car. There's limits. So, I mean, there is limits on electric cars, but there's just a vast difference between the simplicity of a gas car, ICE car, and electric car. Gas car has over 2,000 moving parts. Most of these electric cars, the newer like Tesla, Nissan Leaf, you name it, have less than 20 moving parts. And a lot of them, the batteries are lasting, with the new technology, they're lasting, the batteries are supposed to last over 1 million miles. Basically what's going to happen, you're going to pull the motor and the battery out and trash the car, get another car and put the battery and the motor back in them. You're going to be able to run through these taxis, the bodies, everything's probably going to fall apart. And the engine, the electric motor, and the battery pack is going to be good for another couple cars. So anyway, that's my spiel. I just thought I would talk about that. I was going to get my RC cars out and stuff, but it's just so simple. If you do the S-curve and you look at how it took off into models, it's going to be the same thing, just on a bigger scale. So anyway, if you like this video, crush the like button, and we'll bring you more stuff besides tree work. But we do have some trees coming up this week. We got a big old dead oak tree. I'm going to fire up my big old Blue Thunder tomorrow. If we don't do it tomorrow, we'll do it Tuesday. Got a stump to grind, and then we got a job for Tom. So we've got some bush hogging and maybe some power raking, grapple bucket stuff, stump grinder stuff. And then we have another dead tree, hopefully at the end of the week. We'll be knocking down, hopefully, a big dead pine tree. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. God bless, take care, and be safe out there.